Welcome back to part two. This is exclusively dedicated to the San Francisco 49ers. This year has been rough. And I'm not talking about the football year. I'm talking about literally the calendar year since the departing of Jim Harbaugh. I believe that karma is a B word, and you sort of get what you get. Do not take this as me not being a Niners faithful. Quite the contrary. When you love your team, you hold them to a higher standard, and you have expectations. Right now, the 49ers, the organization, is in complete and utter chaos. Jed York is the epitome of why rich kids don't need football teams. Correction, rich, corny kids who don't need football teams. Now, granted, his track record is definitely a little bit better than his parents when they had the team or when they were managing the operations team, but Jed is like on a power trip or what? I don't know what's going on. I knew it was going to be a disaster the second Harbaugh left. This Trent Baalke character, like, I am literally 20 seconds away from submitting my resume and cover letter for the GM position. Because if Trent Baalke is paid millions of dollars to do that, I'm certain that with my football IQ, I can do a better job. And that is literally no shade at all. It's like ridiculous, honestly. So we talk about, number one, Jed York and Trent Baalke. Dysfunction, everything starts with the head and then it trickles down, which means that play on the field, that is only a manifestation of what's going on in the offices, in the front offices, right? So you see, and I'll get to Colin last because people like to blame Colin. And I do have my critiques of him, but no one trusts anyone. Like, the 49ers couldn't get a coach last year. They couldn't get a coaching staff last year. They couldn't even recruit players. Why? Because no one trusts them. No one. Who would want to go to a team that literally is not loyal? Like, your most winning coach since, like, the George Seifert, since, like, the mid-90s? Mariucci days. We'll say Mariucci in the late 90s, early 2000s before they really tanked. We haven't had any good coaching since. And then you bring in none other than a guy who was only a position coach, had never been a coordinator. You bring in Ron Jeremy's brother. Are you kidding me? This is football. Why is Ron Jeremy's little brother on the sideline coaching a team? Why? I'm sorry. Like, was he really, like, tail kissing that much? Because that's what I believe. All last year, there were talks in the media that there was discord in the locker room. Meanwhile, everyone's like, oh, it's nothing. The only two people that was the only person that you heard flapping their gums was Michael Crabtree. He's gone, and that's okay because he couldn't catch. I personally think that Tom Sula is a snake in the grass. I am so serious. He looks slimy like that. I'm so serious. So we talk about that, right? So we have there's no trust. We have rich kids don't know what to do with football teams. We have, in my humble opinion, a mildly competent general manager. And I'm being generous by saying mildly competent. You have, again, the locker room problems from last year, so they can only be a catastrophe. Like, I haven't heard anything from Alex Boone. Like, Alex Boone last year, was that Alex Boone? Yeah, was that Alex? Yeah, Alex Boone, he's the one that, he speaks up. You know, when there's problems, he, supports people, he supports people, whoever he needs to support. I haven't heard a thing from the Rhino. Further problems. So, yeah. Moving along. to what's happening on the field, because we know that office is a mess. Just a grade A certified mess, and someone needs to call Eddie, and he needs to get the team back and get it under control, because Jed York doesn't know what he's doing. Sorry. Someone call his uncle ASAP. Now, on to this on-field play. Defense is not the same. It's just not. Those corners are problematic for me. But they're not. Like, the defense can be worse, but it's just, even when the 49ers were really bad, the defense was always strong. Defense this year, not too much. But I'll leave defense alone because they can keep the 49ers in a game. So I won't get on them too much. There just needs to be some work going on, especially with their secondary. My biggest gripe with the 49ers when it comes to on the field play, and it's been this consistent for me for the last 2 years, the O-line is horrible. Like, horrible. I watch other teams and I'm like, oh, look, that quarterback has like 30 seconds before, anything happens, before he needs to scramble, before he needs to run, before he is sacked or anything. I watch the 49ers and I'm like, Colin has all of 3 seconds to get the ball out. The O-line consistently has been getting blasted. I'm sorry. The quarterback should not get hit as much. Don't get me wrong. The O-line does a better job of protecting him than RG3's O-line did for him before he got kicked out, injured. Nevertheless, that O-line needs, those guys, I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't. But they are getting blasted. Play by play. It's horrible. Colin, on his part, moves slow. Oh my gosh. I'm like, you have the possession. You have like an 8-minute possession and you only get a field goal. That is unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. You should not burn that much time off the clock to result in 3 points. I get it. The 3 points, it's something versus nothing. But time and time again, he works too slow. Now, people are saying he doesn't know how to read the defenses. I don't know what the problem is, but he's out there just all lackadaisical, just like, all right, come on, guys. The greats don't work like that. You see Brady, you see Breeze, you see Rodgers, you see Peyton. You see these guys, and they're, come on, let's get to the line of scrimmage, and let's get this play going. Colin needs to work faster. He has to work faster. Having a longer possession means nothing, one, if you can't score. Now, if you have a long possession and you're scoring, a touchdown, then great, you're burning the clock. But when you're consistently behind, no, you need to have 3-minute possessions, 4-minute possessions, move that ball down the field, get that set. If you're going to get 3 points, fine, get the 3 points. That means you've only burned 3 or 4 minutes off the clock. But 8-9-minute possession, that is too much time, period. He's working too slow, period. O-line isn't protecting him. But again, like I said, there's no trust in the organization. So the players don't touch the management. Players don't trust themselves because you look at Colin, he's like, all right, I don't know if they're going to protect me or not. Let me just do my own thing. He's a sitting duck week in and week out. And I don't know what's going on in that locker room. I don't know if they're fighting. I don't know if they're fussing and cussing, but someone needs to get it together. They don't need to be best friends, but they need to work together as a unit. Now, these receivers, I believe in Colin. He has a cannon for an arm. His accuracy is suspect sometimes. But now when you get the ball in your hand, there's no reason to drop it. And too many times over the last couple of years, these receivers are dropping his pass. I'm sorry. Your job is to receive. Which means if he's throwing it and he's throwing it to you and you're like this, unless you're Vernon Davis, because Vernon Davis, he ain't stretching. But and he's a tight end, so that's a little bit different. But nevertheless, when you go like this and that ball, you need to figure it out. Bring that ball in. It's ridiculous. All these incompletions, calling for the overthrowing. Yes, Colin gets the overthrown and the underthrown balls. But when that ball is at you and you can't catch it, that is a real problem. A real problem. So, yes, that is my rant on the 49ers. The season is still early. There is plenty of time left for them to become solid contenders. Now, I don't know what's happening. Like I said. Ron Jeremy, the coach, he's sitting on the post-game interviews talking about we just got to do better. I'm sorry, you are too calm for me. When you got blasted the week before, who was that? Who did they get blasted? I can't even remember. But got blasted by Arizona. Got blasted the week before by Arizona. Lose again. That was already after losing. So that's 2 in a row. Then you lose again 3 in a row. And you just calm, cool, and collected. I'm sorry. Winners are passionate. And from that passion, they appear crazy. People didn't like Harbaugh because he was passionate and was crazy and very intense. They won. Someone please get Jet York. Someone get him. Call Eddie DeBartolo. Tell him to come back and do what he needs to do. The ban from his gambling thing is lifted. Someone please fire Trent Baalke. I'm sorry, he has to go. From his 2012 or 2013 draft picks, no one's with the team. Like, what are you doing? Playing Legos? Like, get it together. And Ron Jeremy's brother, he has to go. Ron Jeremy's little brother should not be on the sideline. I'm sorry. Be mad. Say what you want. But the 49ers, they have a lot of work to do. And it starts from management.